Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
So I did this whole thing and it used MiniChat, Google Docs, Zapier, and something else. There was 4 different integrations to put together this whole thing. And what it did was it took people from a Facebook ad or Facebook group or whatever to the chatbot. It asked them for their name and email and sent them a single-use coupon. So I then had their email address in a list. They only got a single-use coupon, and I had them on a chatbot list. So I could then, so that was the first thing.
Re-engage
and it took re-engage with them. But it took me, every time I wanted to set one of these up, because I'm not a tech person, it took me 4 to 5 hours to set this thing up. And it would it was very good instructions from somebody, it was like, and it was just follow this, okay. But, but I did it and it worked and it was awesome. So it was like, okay, chatbots is great. And so I used it for a while, but because it took me 4 or 5 hours to set one of these things up, after that first time, I sort of didn't use it again for, 6 months, 7 months. Then I saw another training that was use chatbots to re-engage with your customers to get reviews. So, okay, well, that's interesting. So I bought that training and that was, a couple $100. And again, it wasn't easy, but I followed it and it worked. And it was the system of targeting your Amazon customers on Facebook using, what's it called? Custom audiences. So you could download your Amazon. This is when you could. You can't anymore actually download your Amazon customer list, upload them into Facebook as a custom audience, target them exclusively, take them through a funnel where you offered them something to get them on a list and then ask them, hey, your name looks familiar. Have you by any chance bought our product before? And then took them through like a step-by-step was like, well, if they said yes, you then took them to a review. So it was, again, pretty complicated, but it worked. Again, it took several hours and I set it up and, within a couple of days, I had 5 reviews for a product that, was great. So yep. Okay. So that was fabulous.
So now you have a way to engage with your customers in the first training that you learned and just give them coupons and get more sales.
Yeah.
And then you have a way to target those same customers who have bought your products before and get them to leave a review. And then Amazon takes away the review thing or the customer data. But hey, it's okay.
But hey, so that was so. And in the meantime, I was using landing pages to give away reviews. Then there was a way that I figured out, or through the networks, through people, it was like, okay, so you can take that landing page, instead of sending them their coupon code via an email, you could actually send them the coupon code via chat. So we integrated the landing pages to the chatbot to give the individual coupon codes. And then I thought, well, we don't need the landing page, take them straight to the chatbot. So it's sort of evolved and technology has changed. And so these days you don't need to do it with string. And coupon codes are a little bit different. And also Amazon is different. See, now you don't want to give away 99% off coupon codes for your launch, right? It's not as effective. And if somebody chooses to leave a review at a 99% coupon code, it's not a verified review. So, we're starting to look at different ways. And at the moment, as you know, if you're looking to launch or relaunch or top up a keyword, the way to do it is a full price buy. That's pretty much it. And so, again, over the years, I've used all the different launch services. I've used, viral launch when we're doing launching. I've used, what are the others? Last launch, I've pretty much used them all. And over the years, they've become less and less and less and less effective,
Yeah.
And I've got one particular product that does not sell throughout the year. I might do 1 or 2 sales a week on it, but come fourth quarter, because it's sort of about this size, it's a perfect stocking stuffer. So every year I rank it purely for keywords related to stocking stuffers. And so last year I used the bots to rank it for those keywords using the chatbots. And so that's why I built the training, because that I did it myself, and it worked. And there are these days, everybody's saying use chatbots, use chatbots, use chatbots. And I know from personal experience that when you're looking at using chatbots, it looks very complicated and it can be time consuming. And for people like myself, I'm a marketing person, I'm not a tech person. It's scary. You look at it and you go, oh, that's too hard, and then it doesn't get done.
Right.
And there are some awesome trainings on it, and I've done most of them, and they're great. But seriously, who's got time to do 15 hours of training these days? Really?
It's hard. Yeah. You really have to dig in and add it to your schedule. You've got to dig in.
Yeah. So that also, what else is out there? You can get done for you, which is fine. There are a number of done for you services which are great. Again, A, they're expensive, and B, you don't get to keep the list in a lot of those cases. Some of there are ones that use APIs and all sorts of things, and again, they're absolutely awesome if you're a tech person. But if you're trying to put together an API and some kind of Google Doc and some other integrations, one little thing goes wrong, it doesn't work, and you're like, well, where is it? What's gone wrong? And so you're, again, spending hours trying to figure it out. So I'm not knocking any of those services out there. They're all great. I find that the more complicated it is, the more barriers to entry there are, and things don't get done. And so people go, oh, yes, I know it's good, it's great, it works, but I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time or the money. I saw somebody sell this thing for over $3,000 6 months ago. Somebody was selling a pre-built chatbot flow for rebates, and it was great, but $3,000? Seriously?
Right.
for a chatbot flow? I thought that, so those of us that have been around for a little while, we all had a little giggle at ourselves. But I know people bought them because it looked like a solution to a problem. Right. And the problem is, we know we have to use chatbots. They look like they're complicated. So here's a solution. We'll do it. It's done.
And you've been speaking about chatbots at a few different conferences and stuff like that.
I actually ran last year here in Australia. I ran some implementation workshops, because again, for me, it's about implementation. It's not about the training. There's so much training. It's actually about getting and doing it. So I actually did some live in-person implementation trainings, which were a full day. Come in, bring your laptop. I didn't do a lot of talking. We just actually did it. And so people were building chatbots on the fly that they then used in their businesses. So, I've been talking about it for ages. And as I said, it's like when you and I met in Los Angeles in February, that you actually said, well, why don't you, put it out there and do a little mini training. So that's what I've done. So I've built a little, and it's literally basic, no integrations, really simple flow. And all it does is takes people through a step-by-step process of inviting them to get your product for free if you want, or you can just do it at a discount. It's up to you. I don't do the Facebook training part of it, so you still have to set up your own Facebook ad. That's not part of the training. So they come from the Facebook ad, they come into the chatbot, and the chatbot takes them through, would you like to get this product? This is the terms and conditions. This is how we would get it. You'd have to buy it. Send us your order details, and then we will refund you via PayPal, rebate you. We don't use refund, we use rebate. So it's a rebate of flow. So it's basically just a really simple flow.
So it's a way to offer rebates to customers without having to use an expensive rebate program. And the reason that you would want to do that is because you own the list.
You then own the list.
You're then going to be able to follow up with them, ask for a review, all of those fun things without, because, we have Rebate Chat. And I always tell people, I say, look, if you do not have a Facebook page, or you don't have any kind of thing to engage with your customers, if you don't have an email list, my Rebate Chat's a really great solution, because we do have an email. Yeah.
So there's Rebate Chat, there's Rebate Key, there's a few, there's Rank Bell, there's a lot of them out there.
Yes, but if you're wanting to grow your own list, which a lot of people are wanting to do, especially nowadays with Amazon being it's a lot of competition right now. So we need to be able to follow up with people. And so why not learn? So your flow that you're teaching in your mini course is teaching them how to do this rebate flow where they can grow
and not only like, and the thing is it's the mini course is actually, I give the flow. I actually give 2 flows. So one is, if you're not currently ranking anywhere for your keywords, there's no point sending them on the search, find, buy, because search, find, buy is the most effective, right? So that's where a customer goes to Amazon, looks, puts in their keyword, whatever it is, silicon spatula, scrolls through the pages and finds the product and buys at full price. So that is the gold standard of keyword ranking, right?
Yes.
Now, if your product is on page 17, they're not going to do that. It doesn't matter if it's free, right? They're not going to do that. Yeah. So what you want to do is you do want to use some kind of super URL, and there are different ways that you can do it. And again, I'm not going to go into details of those. I'm sure you can talk about different types of URLs. There's plenty of excellent free trainings out there on using different URLs. So as part of my flows, I actually give away 2. So the first one is using a super URL. And I include a randomizer, so you can actually use 4 different keywords if you want to, or you can use 1 if you want to. So you can take them through and using a super URL. So basically the flow says, hey, thanks for coming, you can get the rebate, follow these instructions, click here to buy, and then it clicks back in and say, hey, did you buy? Please put in your order number and email so we can send you a PayPal. Now, if you want to, there's an option to do one simple integration to a Google Sheet, which collects the email addresses and names. If you don't want to put that in, you can do it all manually from the back end. Okay, so again, I'm trying to keep it very, very simple so there's no friction. Okay, so it's very simple. The whole training takes less than an hour. And it's a simple one click to put the flow into your own MiniChat account, and all you need to do is take out my pictures of pineapples, where I've put in, I've got like a picture of a pineapple that says, put your picture of your product here, right? So you just need to swap those out and put your pictures of your products in. It's literally, I wanted to call it for dummies, but of course I'm not allowed to.
Trademark.
That's trademarked, so it can't be chatbot for dummies, but it is chatbot, so it's really very simple. So that's the first one, is using a super URL. And then once you're in the I think they say the top 2 or 3 pages on mobile for your search terms, you can then switch across to using the full-on search, find, buy, and that's where we give people very clear instructions. Go to Amazon, use this link, look for this keyword, and you want to put the picture of the keyword in the search results on Amazon. So you want to make it really, dumb it down for the customers the same ways that I've dumbed it down for you. So it's super easy, and then takes them through. And then there's, if you want to later on follow up, an option to then follow up for a review, but it's customer service. You're not actually allowed to ask for a review, so you can follow up, and within MiniChat, because Facebook has changed how you're able to interact with your chatbot audiences recently, so you can't just bombard them, but you are allowed to go back in for a post-purchase query, just to make sure that everything went okay. And then once they engage with you, you can then take them through a conversation around whether they like the product, and very kindly ask for a nice review if the customer gets to that, and that can all be automated as well. So that's so that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, and how have you found these flows? I mean, obviously there's a reason that you picked these flows to put in your course. How have you found these flows to work in terms of, time after the product is purchased, and being able to really get reviews? How often do you get reviews?
I use them less because I'm using them for existing products. So I very rarely, I don't rely on them for reviews anymore. So for me, it's all about the ranking. And I have found that using a full price search, find, buy type of flow, again, whether it's through a service or in my case using the chatbots, is not quite instant, but certainly within days, the ranking shoots up. And you don't need many. Like we use tools like I use Helium 10, and they've got like a little column that says this is how many units you need to give away in order to rank for whatever keyword it is. Well, if you're using a full price rather than a giveaway, you can count on using less than a third of those number of units to get the ranking, because it's full price and it's organic. So you don't need to give away nearly as many units as you would at a 99% giveaway. Does that make sense?
I would imagine that. Oh, absolutely. And I would imagine that if you paired, when I do launch calls with clients, I talk through like, hey, you need to have 3 forms of external traffic you're running.
Absolutely. Like you don't want to use this exclusively. You might want to be doing PRs. You might want to be doing, you want to be doing advertising.
Traffic, right? I mean, it's really great. So I usually say if you're going to do giveaways or something like that, that's one form of external traffic. And so, but combine that. If you combine that with, for example, if you're running Google ads and then you're doing some of the, like a ranking chat flow like this, I mean, your results are going to be even better than that. It's going to be outrageously awesome. So I love that.
Now, of course, like every ranking strategy, if your product doesn't look like it belongs on that page, on page 1, and you don't have the listing optimized that people are actually going to buy at full price, who find it organically, the ranking is not going to stick. And that's, it doesn't matter what you do. That's just the nature of the Amazon algorithm. So you've got to seed the ranking and get yourself up there and keep going until organic sales take over. And if organic sales don't, then you're going to have to look at your listing and figure out what's going on, because it's not about the chatbot. It's about your product and your listing, right? The chatbot is just
Regina, for bringing
it's just
that
a tool. It's a tool to get you there. The product's got to be able to stand there on its own 2 feet once it's there. That's something that, again, people don't really talk about much, but and I've learned that lesson myself numerous times.
Foundation is so important, right? Like making sure. I love the way that you put that, because I always tell people, make sure that people have a reason to buy up against your competition. When they hit that page, that they look at your product and they're like, yes, it's the right price, it has the right reviews, all the photos answer all my questions, it's amazing, I have no reason not to add it to my cart right now, I have no reason to scroll down and look at all these other sponsored product ads. But the way you put it, you said, make sure that your product belongs right there on that page, meaning like up against your competition. If it doesn't belong there, it's not going to stay there, right?
Absolutely.
Love that. Oh, that's so awesome. So I'm looking forward to, I'm definitely going to check out this chatbot training. I can't wait. I'm about to do a relaunch of one of my products.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Well, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait a week or so. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait a week or so. The training itself is done. The sales page and the shopping cart to actually buy it. I'm still, I'm a non-techie. It takes me longer to build that stuff, but it's on its way. So I've got you can join my wait list.
I will. I'm joining the wait list.
And I don't know when this is going live, so I don't know when you're going to be launching this. So,
and we will put the link to the wait list, or maybe it will lead to the sales page. Who knows? We'll put the link to the wait list out there for those of you who want to check out the chatbot training from Regina. Regina, we always ask at the end of our interviews what you are doing to stay motivated in your business. Do you listen to any podcasts or read any books? What have you been doing to stay motivated lately?
That's a good question. I do listen to podcasts. Well, because I have my own podcast, for me, it's interviewing the people, the awesome people like yourself, and other, mostly women that I interview in my business. So that actually keeps me motivated, is hearing stories from other people. There's a couple of podcasts I personally like to listen to, anything that Steve Simonson puts out through Empowery and Awesomers. I love Danny McMillan's work, and he's just been the content coming out of him, recently is just it's like a tidal wave of content. So yeah, and then the other thing I've done recently is I've actually cut down on my social media and news, and sort of been a little bit more focused. But yeah, and I guess the last few months being under house arrest, so to speak, with my daughter, that's been fun. For both of us. I'm not a powerhouse exerciser like you, darling. My exercise has been up and down the stairs and to and from the fridge. But yeah, just to stay motivated. Look, for me, motivation has always been from within and looking at, I've got a very, very clear goal. When I first started in this business, it was a 6-year goal. It's now an 18-month goal, and it hasn't changed. I'm still, I'm now 18 months away from that goal. Getting to it has changed, like the path to it has changed a little bit over the years, but the goal itself hasn't changed. And so that's what keeps me motivated. That's
Love
it. It's internal rather than external. And I think that's what it needs to be, really.
Yeah, that is definitely the key. You have to be able to motivate yourself. If you can't if you're counting on other people to motivate you, you may be disappointed. So I love that. Well, let's end this with telling everybody, how can they find you? How can they follow you? How can they get in touch and
okay.
all the training?
Look, I'm very easy to find. There's only one, Regina Peterburgsky. I tend to hang out on Facebook. I have my group, which is the Women on Amazon Facebook group. There is a page, but that's mostly used for advertising. So find the group, not the page. You're welcome to contact me directly by email. It's just regina@womenonamazon.com. I've got the website, womenonamazon.com. I've got the podcast, Women on Amazon. The easiest way to contact me personally is really through Facebook Messenger. So find me on Facebook and then send me a direct message, because that's where I hang. I'm not really on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Again, find me by name. But I'm mostly on Messenger.
All right. Women on Amazon. I'm in your group. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to be uplifted by all the other women on Amazon. So very good. Well, thank you, Regina, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
We all learned a lot about chatbots and about how you could use them and how you can totally do it even if you're a non-techie.
That's it. And look, and I only told you the very basic. There's some really awesome, slightly more advanced strategies that we can talk about next time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I know I've seen some of the tips that you've been dropping in the groups and stuff. And I'm like, okay, wait. That's another podcast, Regina. It's on the podcast list. Yep. So I love that. That's really fun. All right, everyone. Well, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this special extra session today, and we will see you next time on the Seller Roundtable.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.